The case of the Minnesota assassin. Here we go, man. Some more debauchery. Here we go.
This unsuspecting man is about to show just how much of a monster he really is.
Uh-oh. God damn.
On September 12th,
The 4
2021,
gunshots?
this man, 38-year-old Antoine Suggs, assassinated 4 innocent people in the middle of the night.
Whoa.
Our small team of investigative reporters has gathered the footage and case details about Antoine and how all 4 murders came to be in order to present the whole story in its entirety for the first time ever. This all started very early in the morning, a few days prior on September 8th. And
Hey, y'all ever think to yourself, why the shit do even us, I ain't gonna say other races, but why the hell do we speak about the criminalized black folks, the criminalized black dudes as Tyrone or Antoine? Y'all ever think about that shit? Why? That's so odd. That's so janky. That's so odd, right? Tyrone, Antoine, up, use a nigga. What? That's come on, bro.
Antoine arrived in Minnesota via airplane from his home state of Arizona, and footage shows that nothing seems to be out of the ordinary.
You seen this, Jay?
That changes very soon.
Uh-oh.
Antoine is picked up by an unknown person and leaves the airport with them. A few days later, on September 11th, late at night, Antoine revisits the airport in a new luxury Mercedes SUV.
3 days?
Later investigations report that this car was recently loaned
Somebody in that joint, yeah. Little shorty. She the sidekick. She the Elias. She don't even know it, probably.
to Antoine. It is unknown whether or not Antoine is connected to a larger organized crime group. While it's a logical hypothesis considering the value of this luxury car Antoine is now driving, we have yet to unfold the full story of this case, as it is only just heating up. We don't know why Antoine revisited the airport, but the surveillance footage gives us a glimpse at his passenger, who bears a striking resemblance to one of his future murder victims, Nitosha Lee Flug Presley. If the passenger is indeed Nitosha, then this was one of the last images showing her alive. According to a complaint filed by an anonymous person, a witness said they saw Antoine and Nitosha taking shots together at a bar just hours after he left the airport. Records also show that Nitosha's aunt told investigators that Antoine and Nitosha were romantically involved.
So he went to the airport to what? He didn't work there. Did she work there? Highly doubt it, but what y'all taking a detour to the airport for and then going to the bar, huh?
Putting all this information together, it's becoming more and more likely that this passenger is indeed Nitosha. After a night of drinking, it is believed that Antoine and Nitosha went to a residence in St. Paul, where they spent time with 3 other people who would soon become Antoine's other 3 future murder victims.
Oh, Lord.
They were Lois Foreman III, Matthew Pettis, and Jasmine Sturm. Just hours later that same night, now the very early morning of September 12th, surveillance footage caught this altercation sometime around 3:30 a.m. in St. Paul, Minnesota.
1, 2. Damn! That was 5 shots I counted. Out of there. Oh my God. Oh my God.
In this footage, we hear gunshots and then that same Mercedes car speed through the streets.
Ooh.
It is clear this is when the murders happened. But what Antoine does after this is quite shocking. On the same day around 10 a.m., after driving around for many hours,
So 7 hours later.
trying to figure out what to do with the dead bodies, Antoine decided that he needed help hiding the bodies.
Huh?
So he makes plans to meet up with his father, 56-year-old Darren Osborne, at a
Dad?
gas
Pops?
station during the day. Antoine's
Pops?
plan was to have his father follow him into western Wisconsin to a cornfield where they would find an inconspicuous place to dump the car with the bodies in it. Osborne later told officers that he had no idea at this point there were bodies in Antoine's car.
Yo. Well, obviously he explained this to his pops. Obviously. So my thing is, if you explain this to your pops, Pops, you ain't asking no more questions?
On the way to meet with his father, Antoine stops at a different gas station than the one planned for the meetup spot.
Uh-oh.
In this disturbing surveillance footage that shows this particular stop, you can even see one of the deceased victims in the passenger seat, limp and showing no signs of life. And while those bodies are in the car, Antoine is inside the gas station, paying for his gas just like it's another normal day. Antoine continued traveling to the meetup spot, moving from St. Paul, Minnesota to Dunn County, Wisconsin. This time, stopping at the originally planned gas station, we see him and his father convene.
And he got the window down. He got the window down, like, I mean, he about to talk to his pop, but bro, that smell.
The gas station, and they speak a bit before driving away.
Where the body at? He put in the back? Or
It is presumed Antoine had now moved the body out of the front passenger seat, considering his father would have clearly noticed a deceased human being sitting in the car.
in the blood? Like,
That is, if Antoine's father is telling the truth. Again, at this point, according to the father, he did not know what Antoine was up to. However, it is reported that Antoine allegedly confessed to his father, soon after the meetup, that he had snapped and shot the victims. At this point, it's becoming more and more difficult for Antoine's father to deny his involvement with this situation. Antoine and his father allegedly went on to hide the car with the bodies in it in a cornfield further into Wisconsin. It is reported that a local anonymous farmer found the abandoned Mercedes in a cornfield in Dunn County, Wisconsin.
no.
He very quickly reported it to the police. At this time, no one knew of Antoine's or his father's involvement. However, we do have body cam footage that details some of the officers' experiences investigating the car in the cornfield with the deceased victims in it. What they find is extremely brutal.
That's where we're gonna go in right here.
God damn. And it stinks. I know it stinks. It reeks.
Yeah, we can do it.
Something. Just for
Are they in the front? Well, obviously that's what they're covering
We
up,
did
right?
open the back door. We need to open the back door.
Do we know if that one in the back on the far right is male or female?
Do you know? The one on the far
Bro,
back?
imagine no, I don't know. Let's not imagine, but bro, picture seeing this, man.
The behind the driver?
I thought it was a female.
So they were stiff when you moved them?
Yes.
Damn.
I opened that door. I basically went like this, and it was just,
Oh,
you know,
god damn.
rigor, whatever you want to call it.
Right, rigor mortis.
The male, we didn't check anything on him. It looks. I thought there was like a hole. Looks like there might be blood pooling in his ear, or I thought maybe that was an entry or exit wound. I'm not sure. Thank you guys. Yep.
I ran out. Well, it looks like if the actual key started not push button too. There's a key that there's no keys in the ignition.
A bunch of blood on their shoe. I see that.
Yeah, it's pooled, yeah. Definite bullet wound to the right side of the face, right side of the ear on him, on the
Holy
male.
shit.
These officers are taking careful note of entry and exit wound details for a very important reason. This detail alone is extremely helpful in determining if the murders were committed with intent or in self-defense.
I mean, that looks like an entrance wound right there.
It didn't look like an exit wound to me. I'm guessing she got shot in the body though. Yeah, there's blood on her left arm and on her right, and it's old. Watch your right shoulder now.
Yep.
Oh, what's in the pocket, Dan?
There, dried blood.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's dripping right now.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
Male and shot wound to the head. Like, yep. There's the exit wound over here.
ooh.
See on the front seat,
Got us other day since this shit. Sometimes
Yeah,
back in
right
video, but
below,
at the
right
same
where the
time,
shoulder rest is. That
totally
white
makes sense.
stuff,
Yeah,
is
for
that
sure.
brain matter or skull?
I don't. I mean,
Hard to say.
yeah, I don't want to see. I don't want to see that. I don't want to.
Cause she wearing her seatbelt still.
No,
I couldn't
it's-
tell. If
And then, you know, think about the family too, right? Like, the family were to know that this happened in Minnesota and this is their child or this is their nephew or niece, uncle, whatever, you know, spouse, whatever. It'll, like, you got all of this on YouTube for views and monetizing off of, no, you know?
it was just
they put it
behind her. Behind her.
just probably so that it wouldn't.
Like,
It's the way-
it's almost like there's a fine line between shining light on the situation and or shining awareness versus, you know, completely profiting. Because we know their face. We know what their face looks like. They've shown that. But then, you know, completely profiting off of crime. This crime, this heinous situation.
Weights in there, so it'd be.
I want to know where the gunshot wound is on this other gal. How do you have exit wounds and there's no damage in the vehicle?
Well, but also, if it's a headshot, wouldn't she have splatter? I mean, you got splatter on him, but it's just weird.
Well, his is coming from
Sometimes there's
his
a
nose.
respectful majority,
You know,
if
that's
not all
that's
the
just
time, is we
drained
don't
from
get
the nose
strikes.
from the
That
brain.
too. That part too. Yeah.
Alright,
Because a lot of these, you know, crime, body cam, and investigation, court cam type videos, they do want to get as gruesome as possible. They do. Now, we like these videos, yeah, we do, and we like them to, you know, talk about it, awareness, and not to, of course, scare us or make us fearful of people and all like that, but we have a fine line, I think, like, of, you know, wanting it to be so, like, the story be gruesome enough. The story be gruesome enough when we hear this shit, you know? But a lot of people who watch these videos and who are so invested into these videos, they want to see everything. The blood, the naked bodies, the dried up blood, the stabbings, the shootings, the bullet, like everything, you know?
He looks
Fine line.
Well, let's just get out of here, I guess. We'll just talk to Kyle.
During later investigations, Antoine's Arizona ID card was found on the floor of the car,
Idiot.
covered in blood.
Idiot.
This pointed the officers directly to him and later his father as well, as more information was discovered after they reviewed the previously shown surveillance footage.
Hell?
Officers arrested Antoine's father first,
Got
and
him.
then charged Antoine with 4 counts of hiding a corpse. Antoine, now back in Arizona, turned himself in to the Arizona authorities. Antoine would now be brought back to St.
Damn,
Paul,
that next
Minnesota,
week.
the city where he committed the murders. This is where his dramatic legal trial would take place. Over the course of the next few days of Antoine's trial, he claimed, incredulously, that he acted in self-defense in the killing and transporting of the 4 victims, which the prosecutors stated that they find improbable. Antoine has had a lengthy history of breaking the law, including multiple instances of unlawful possession of a firearm, possession of marijuana in a vehicle, driving with a suspended license, and much more. Even though Antoine had never racked up any charges nearly as serious as murder, this made it quite clear that Antoine is no stranger to criminal activity.
And see, this is what happens when you play with crimes. This is what happens when you attempt to juggle and make sense of these heinous acts, bro. That's why we don't attempt to make sense of why. If that's the case, then shit, y'all need to be in the legal, have a legal job somewhere. Be a detective. Be a part of FBI, CIA, DIE, Homeland Security. Be a part of that. Put in an application. Go to college for it. But I'm not trying to make sense. We don't need to know why somebody did it. Somebody did it is the thing. Now, it is nowhere near my frequency, my vibration, our vibration frequency, none of that. So why are we going to attempt to make sense of it? Like, let's try to understand why somebody would, Nope. I don't want that nowhere near my energy bubble. Hell no. Get that shit away from me. Get that shit away from me. Fast. Trying to juggle with crimes, bro. Oh, well, this is okay. This is not too much. Driving with a stolen this. Driving with an illegal this. Taking this from somebody and selling it right quick. Not getting caught. It builds up. Telling you, it builds up.
During the trial, Antoine never gave any reason other than self-defense. He said the 4 victims were attempting to rob him, claiming he was the victim in this situation. However, going back to what the police learned about the entry and exit wounds of the bullets in the bodies, it's obvious this is definitely not a case of self-defense. Even though no one believed Antoine's excuse, he still gave no other reason as to why he did this. So we may never know his true motive behind murdering the 4 innocent victims. The jurors, after 6 hours of deliberation, decided that Antoine was found guilty on all 4 counts of second-degree intentional murder.
See you later, Antoine.
And was sentenced to 103 years in prison.
So, with the second degree plus the intent, let me see. So, is that 20? Is that 20 a body? 20 years a body? That's crazy, right? 20 years a body. So that's 80. And the intent adds an extra 5 to each body. Or 3 to 5, right?
His father, Darren Osborne, was charged with 1 count of aiding an offender. After pleading guilty, he was sentenced to 5 years in prison. These are the jury verdicts that show Antoine being found guilty on all 4 counts of murder.
Dang.
Judge Japal Harris, the judge who sentenced Antoine, told him this: each one of these individuals deserves that you serve time for each one of them. What do you believe could have possibly been Antoine's motive for killing these 4 innocent people?
I ain't trying to dive through that, bro, whatsoever. And I ain't gonna read the comments on this one, but hey, Antoine, stay in that pissy ass jail, son.